Hello and welcome to a short presentation video of the Nagra III Telefunken audio tape recorder. This tape recorder was first introduced in 1958. It is a professional tape recorder for film sound recordings or radio broadcast applications, etc. This tape recorder is a portable tape recorder, and it was one of the first, or maybe absolutely the first, tape recorder which is portable and is full transistorized. It has germanium transistors, about 30 transistors are in it. For that it is a portable recorder. It has the same specifications than a big non-portable recorder it this time has, so this is really high quality recorder. There's also a version available, the Nagra III NP. NP stands for Neo Pilot, and this version has a pilot system. Nagra III has also an XLR jack for connecting a microphone. You can connect an XLR microphone. It has three different speeds. The slowest speed is 3¾ inches per second. The middle speed is 7½ inches per second, and the faster speed that it has is 15 inches per second. This Nagra III was made by Nagra, but is a Telefunken Nagra III. So Nagra has made models for Telefunken, and Telefunken sold them. A really special thing on this is also that it has a servo system which is for keeping the motor every time at the correct speed. This system is checking the speed of the motor, the current speed of the motor, and automatically readjusting the speed so that the speed is every time right. So good, okay, now let's take a closer look to it. Here at first we have the modulometer. This is the modulation meter, which is showing you the modulation of your recording, and it's also a bed meter, which is showing you the battery reserve of the recorder. Here with this big knob you can switch between the importance mode, and a special thing on this knob is that there stands X for external and BAT for batteries. Now we're in external mode, which means that the power is coming from an external power supply. If you want to use batteries, you just have to take this knob and turn it 360 degrees, and now we are in BAT mode, which means now the power comes from the batteries. And now we are back in external mode, and the power comes from the external power supply. This is the before after button, so you can switch before tape and after tape. Here this control is for the microphone level. Here you can adjust the recording level of the microphone. Here we have a reference signal generator, which is generating a signal of, I think, 1 kHz, I'm not sure, but I think that's 1 kHz. And with this you can record a reference signal on the tape. And here we have the control for the line in, line out, or the playback. Here it is a connector for dynamic headphones. I have no headphones that fit on this here, but maybe I can get one. Here we are on the left side of the recorder. Here we have the speed selector. You can just change the speeds with a screwdriver. And here we have the XLR jack for the microphone. As you can see, here I am able to connect an XLR microphone. So here we are at the right side of the recorder. This is a little bit modified version. These BNC jacks are not standards, so I think that was a modification made by the previous owner. The standard is that there are all banana plugs. Here this connector is for the power supply. There you can connect the external power supply. I think it must be an 18 volt power supply. I have built a power supply because I don't have one, and I've bought this connector. Okay, so now we take a short look of the tape transport. Here we have two things of the tape path, you can see here. Here we have the heads. This is an erase head, a record head, a playback head. Here we have the capstan. It's a really big capstan, so this is good for constant speed. And here we have the pinch roller. A really special thing on this is that it has these two stroboscope rollers. These rollers are for checking if everything is running at the right speed. The tape passes these rollers and turns it, and if you have a light bulb with the 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz power grid, then this grid here stands. It looks like then it stands if the frequency and the speed is the right. So you have 50 Hertz and 60 Hertz for different countries, and this is a really important thing. This is for the tape transport, and the really important thing by this is if it is in this position and you go into play or any other mode, it is rewinding the tape. So this is the rewind mode or position. This position is the playback or record position. In this position the pinch roller is fully engaged to the capstan, and in this position you can record or play back the tape. But the really important thing is that for storaging, never leave this thing in this position, because in this position the pinch roller can get into flat, because there is every time pressure on the pinch roller at one point where it touches the capstan, and so it can get flat. Also never leave it in this position, because in this position a belt for rewinding is stretched. So the only storaging position is this position where this point is looking at this point. Here we have the internal loudspeaker. The quality of the internal loudspeaker is not really high, but it is also not really bad. So yes, it is okay for monitoring and searching a part on your tape, but if you want a really high quality, then take the line out or the earphone connector. This internal loudspeaker has 2 watts, I think. So now go to the other really interesting thing. Let's look what is inside of the recorder. Okay, the mechanic is very simple and service friendly build. It has just 2 belts here, this belt and this belt. This belt is the belt for rewinding, and this belt is the belt for play and fast forward. Here we have the big capstan motor. It is a direct drive capstan motor, it's really big. Here under there you can see it, there's the flywheel, and the flywheel has some knobs in it, and there is also a tachometer head there, which is counting this, and this is for the servo system to check the speed. And here we have the mechanism for tape tension. These outside things for the tape tension are controlling the tension here, that the tape tension is every time constant. Good, now let's take a short look to the electronics part of the recorder. So okay, here we have a bit really good shielded parts, which is really good shielded. You can see here. That here is the output transformer. This Nagra recorder has an output transformer. Then there next to it is an output amplifier. That's a bit logical that there is the amplifier and that there is the output transformer. Then here we have the tension stabilizer and the motor servo amplifier. And down there we have the big motor power transistors for driving the motor. So here you can see that is the servo amplifier for keeping the speed constant. Okay, here we have the microphone preamplifier. This is the preamplifier for the microphone that you can connect on the side. Here we have the playback preamplifier. We have two playback preamplifier and a playback amplifier. Preamplifier and amplifier. And here we have the tachometer amplifier, which is amplifying the tachometer signal which is coming from the tachometer head from the motor. Okay, then here we have the switch for the speeds, and here we have the speed stabilizer coil. This big coil is for the speed stabilization. This coil here is for the final speed regulation for 7.5 inches per second, and this coil is for 15 inches per second, also speed final regulation. Here we have the record amplification, not amplification, the record equalization circuit here. Here we have the, if you change these resistors and capacitors, you can change the record amplification and so adjust the recorder to a special type of tape. If you are not knowing what you are doing, leave this alone. Okay, that's the important thing of the inside of this device. And now I put it back together and we take a short test recording with it. First I'm connecting the power supply, the self-made power supply, to the recorder. Okay, good, and now let's put in a tape. I'm doing this test recording now with the Amtech PM971 tape. But I have no idea for which tape this recorder is adjusted, so that is not for the maximum quality now. So here I have my tape. And now let's connect the microphone here on the microphone XLR input. And now we are going to test mode. And in test mode I can adjust the level of the microphone. As you can see here, I can overdrive it or keep it here at the correct level. Now you can see I'm at the correct level. And now for starting the recorder I have to engage the transport, like so, and now going to record. So now we are recording to the tape. As you can see, the meter is moving and is reflecting my record level. It is working very good, and everything is moving. Now we are recording at 7.5 inches per second. As you can see, this machine is about 50 years old, and after 50 years it's working absolutely like it is new. So that is mastering of engineering. Finish up our recording and go on and rewind the tape. So now we'll go back into test mode and go into stop. For rewinding, disengage the tape and put this in this position. And now let's go into playback. So, okay, now we are in playback, and if I want to play back the tape, then I'm going to engage the transport, put on the volume here a bit, and now go and play. So now we are recording to the tape. As you can see, the meter is moving and is reflecting my... As you can see here, I can adjust now the playback level. Everything is... You can see. If I go to hi-fi playback, here you can see now it is displaying the battery. If I go to hi-fi playback and put this to 0, here to 0, then it is reflecting the playback level, as you can see here, and I can change the playback level after the recording. You can see here. Okay, good. Now go back to playback with loudspeaker. Recording and now go back into stop. So okay, now I'm rewinding back the tape, back to the head of the tape. Okay, now stop and put it in this safe position here. And I can say that's it for my Nagra III presentation video. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope it was a bit interesting for you. And I can say thanks for watching.